So the first speaker I'd like to introduce is Jabu Zwane. Now, Jabu is the mindset guy with 5 kids, and that was his entire bio. 3 kids. Maybe you grew 5. Okay, there we go. Perfect. All right. Now, so I went to have a look at his LinkedIn. I've followed him for a long time. I thought, let me see what else is there. And he says, I'm called to heal, restore, and empower others for authentic living and success through mindset development. So, amazing topic, phenomenal speaker. I'd like to hand over the microphone to Jabu Zwane. Please welcome, huge round of applause, virtual chapter round of applause. Jabu, thank you so much for being here. The floor and microphone is yours.
Well, then, good evening. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much, Tim, for that massive warm welcome. It's great to be with you all this evening. And I'm excited to share with you shortly what I've got going on. I'm going to be sharing basically as a fellow speaker, not so much as an expert in the topic of AI. I'm going to show you how I'm using it, how you could perhaps use it. And my main focus this evening will be more along the lines of creating your own GPTs to improve your business. But before I start, I'm going to ask you a question. Does anybody here know anything about little Michaela? Little Michaela. Does anyone know anything about who little Michaela is? Okay, no. Well, that is going to become your homework. No, I'm kidding. I'm going to tell you who little Michaela is. So, 2.4 million. These are numbers that you're going to associate with her. 2.5 million, 3.4 million, and 26,000. She has 2.4 million followers on Instagram, 3.4 million followers on TikTok, and 26,000 on X. Little Michaela is not a real person. She is an avatar that is actually an influencer, but she is an AI influencer. The question was asked earlier on about whether AI is a threat or not. I think that there is no simple answer to that question. Undoubtedly, as everybody has already expressed, it's not a threat depending on how you use it. But I want you to consider the fact that the current advancements in AI are at such a rapid rate to the degree that the advancements along the lines of what AI is able to do to mimic real humans is actually scary. And you see that a lot in the space of influencer media. And the reason why I'm mentioning that is because, as I was mentioning earlier on, there's a matter of generations as far as who's currently leading in the business and what they prefer. The older generation obviously is not so much friendly with the issue of AI, but the younger generation is. Maybe not in the nearest future, but I can tell you for sure is that the generations that are coming below us are so used to making use of AI that for them, the concept of human interaction will take a different tone altogether. And it is something to be mindful of, that they are following these AI and these avatars, and they're constantly on their devices. And they don't have the same approach towards human interaction as maybe the older generation. And that is something to be mindful of, because that basically means there's an evolution happening even within the way that human beings operate. And that basically means that the preferences are going to be significantly different in terms of generations. And from that extent, there is an imminent threat to us as speakers. However, if you understand how to use AI and how to keep up with the changes, you need not worry. So that's what I want to just quickly bring out as a consideration. So my talk, I'm gonna share a screen with you just to show you how I'm using AI at the moment, and then you can then also yourself be able to take whatever tips that you can take from there. So I'm gonna go straight into my screen, and I'm gonna show you. There she is. There's Michaela. You guys see her? Okay. Yeah, okay, great. There's her Instagram handle. All right. And then there it is right there. See 2.5 million followers. TikTok there, 3.4 there, 26,000. Okay, great. So I'm going to move on from that. I'm going to quickly start off by showing you the two AI apps that I use specifically for transcription. I do a lot of talking, and I don't always have a time to to write. And sometimes I call it doing impromptu talks. I like to record, and in my recording, I like to use this Note GPT. This Note GPT, you are able to upload. What I like about it is that it gives you, what happened now? Hold on a second. What I like about it is that it gives you an opportunity to upload videos, upload audios, but also to do your YouTube links. So you can just copy your YouTube link here. Quickly, let me show you. Let's go quickly on one of my videos. All right, say Jabu Zwane here. Okay, let's go INX because that's where I do most of my videos. And I can just quickly copy the link, share, copy the link. If I go on to Note GPT, go back here, and then I can just copy it in there. What I like about this one is that it does two things. It's able to summarize, but it's also able to give you a transcription. And I'll show you why specifically I choose this one when it comes to also GPTs. So on this side here, I've got the summary of my talk. It tells me exactly what the talk is about. So I can actually use this if I've uploaded a video. Let's say that you've been asked to do an impromptu talk that you had not planned to do, but it was a killer talk and you were able to record it. You can take that recording, upload it onto this app, and then get the transcription, get the summary of your talk, and then get the key points. And then there you go. You already have your talk and its main key insights. Okay. And on this side here, I'm able then to copy the transcript, and I'll show you how I use this for the transcription. What I like about this is that you can get up to 15 entries for free per month. Up to 15 entries for free per month. You can see down here it's got a quota. The quota says there 1 out of 15. All right. And then the other one, of course, maybe you guys don't know about Restream. Restream has an option for transcription. If I put this down, if you're looking at it there inside of the browser, you can see that that's where the link is. And I'm going to attach a quick document with all the links now. And then you also are able to upload your files. You can get any audio files, you can get your video files, up to even more than an hour, get the transcript and get the summary of this transcript and then use it. And the reason why I'm showing you these two specifically is how I'm using the GPTs. I like transcriptions because of, as Steyn already mentioned earlier on, you're able to create your booklets, you're able to create your short courses. Now, quickly, let's go on to the GPTs. Now, you are not able to create your own GPTs, I think, if you're not on a paid subscription. But you are able to use GPTs even if you are on the free one. On the GPT as a speaker, these are the ones that I've created specifically for myself as a speaker. Let me start with the simple one. The simple one, this is a client of mine that I was doing a lot of call center training, looking at phone calls, how whether the guys are lining up, whether they're following the script, what is the problem with the script, what is the problem with the energy and all of that. So I created my own GPT to analyze calls. So it would be able to analyze calls. It'll be able to tell me what are the specific areas where the person starts to sort of falls off. It's able to even go as far as look at the energy, look at the language that the agent uses, and then it's able then to give a report. And then I'm able to generate this, and I'm able to do a comparative. I could actually put in, let's say I'm doing a training. I've trained the person the first week. I do analysis pre-training, after training. Maybe I've done 3 or 4 trainings, and after each training, I can do analysis, and I can submit all 4 reports, and I can be able to actually come up with a progress report based on what the person has been doing. I'm sure many of us who are in training, this can be something very useful. So this is what I call a solution-specific GPT. It could be, I don't know what it is that you're doing. Maybe it's sales. You can actually create a sales analyzer. You can create, I don't know, client services or client success analysis type of thing. Now, to create a GPT, what you want to do is that if you don't know what to do, you can simply go to your GPT and start off with saying, for example, let me move this. Can you say with me, create a prompt? Let me create a prompt for a GPT for sales specialization. Specialization in retail for wrong name comes to my head. Let's say for gold necklaces. All right, and then once you do this, then it creates a prompt for you. Yes, and that becomes the primary base. Now, the great thing about the GPT is that once you've done this, then you can go to your GPT, create the GPT, put this prompt into a GPT, and then upload industry-specific documents. So if you've got your sales script, you've got training material in there, you can put it in there, and then tell it exactly how you want it to serve you. For example, let me go on to the next one. The next one that I use is the Speech Mentor Craft. Okay, the Speech Craft Mentor helps me to analyze my talks. All right, now let's go back to the script that I told you about, that I've just done now. I go into the script, I can copy the script. I'm going to copy the script, I'm going to put it into the GPT, and then I'm going to ask the GPT to analyze the script for me and tell me whether I kill the game or if I kind of messed it up a little bit. Okay, that's taking long. Almost there. Give me a second. Okay, it's fine. You know what? It's going to take too long. Let me just copy that, and I'm going to put it into the GPT. I'm going to say, analyze my speech and give me feedback. Yes, copy, paste that. All right, let's go. Yep, let's quickly ask them to do that. Now on here, I've taken, for example, the top 25 best speeches of all time, and I said to my GPT, create a metric for me on what to identify as the key elements, and now come up with my own analysis of my own speech and how I understand speaking. And this is what I use. For example, there it is. Already it tells me on this one, brevity. Okay, it tells me what I need to improve. Verbosity, because I'm introducing a new topic, I tend to repeat a lot. So you can see repetition is a problem. It says 17. Lexicon speaks to my own language. So I asked my GPT to tell me about a unique use of my own language to keep my authentic, take on my own talks. Relevance is 9. Language structure 7. Tone is 8. Structure and flow, because I normally based on things on Monday on a whim. That's why it happens that way. Engagement and then impact is 8. All right. So I look at, for example, that impact is crucial for me, and I also look at normally I would look at the tone 8, not bad, and the relevance 9, very very important. So you can use this type of create this type of thing for yourself, and then be able to analyze your own talks. Let me quickly move on because I want to finish off with you guys here. The other one that I use specifically now, for example, I've got one that I call a book editor. Now, for someone like Kim, for example, who's a specialist in book editing, she can use all of her skills and all of her understanding on how to create, how to edit books and what makes a bestseller. And then you can create your own GPT and then test your own book. So you're able to upload the book, attach the file, and then analyze your own book and see whether or not it has the marks of a bestseller. You can, for example, say, find me the 25 best-selling books and then create a metric out of that. But the biggest one, which is the one that I use the most for my business, is that I have what I call the mindset coach. As a mindset development specialist, I have pretty much uploaded all the work, most of the work that I've done. I've done transcriptions for over 120 different videos. I've taken all the stuff that pretty much I've been doing since 2019. I've created them into audiobooks, into scripts, and I've uploaded them onto my GPT. And now this GPT pretty much is Jabu Zwane. For example, for my social media, I would say, please write me 5 Jabu Zwane quotes on resilient mindset, because I want to be able to choose from that. Okay, so immediately it'll be able to draw for me, or for whoever is working for me, it's able to give them my quotes, right? So you can see right there One of my quotes says, resilient is built when you face challenges head on and see them as opportunities, growth rather than obstacles and progress. So this makes it easier for my social media. And so there's a lot more that I can be able to say on this GPT, but the most important thing about the GPT is that I even use it now. For example, I've got this event speaker finder. The only problem with this one is that it's not very accurate because it doesn't always give me the latest events that are coming up. If I said, for example, please list events in tech in the USA in California, okay, then it's able to, it's already going through that. It's looking at over 100 different websites. And there it's listing. Some of them are old, some of them are new. So it's not always very accurate. So the bottom line that I wanted to say is this, is that GPTs for me, I found that to be the most powerful and the most instrumental use that I use AI for. The more fluent you are in your topic, the more you understand what your client solutions are, the easier and the better it's going to do for you. I use this literally to create everything. You know, for example, with my mindset one, I can very easily, let's say to me, the company says to me, come and talk to us about the mindset of a mining engineer. It's going to look at my framework of mindset, use my framework of mindset, find the relevant information. So, for example, I do have one of the problem solving and critical thinking as one of the mindsets, adaptability and resilience. So it'll take all of those and then it'll include and make it relevant to the industry that I'm being called to be working on. It works very well for me because I've got multiple frameworks for multiple things that I do. I hope this was helpful. I don't want to take too much of time, and I suppose we'll have Q&A, but that's basically what I want to share with you guys tonight. Is that, yeah, GPTs for me are the game changer, and they are helping me a lot in terms of my productivity. And I hope this was beneficial to you guys. Thank you.
Jabu, thank you very much. Absolutely amazing. Round of applause. Give a huge appreciation for his time and seeing actually how a speaker applies it directly in his business. This has been really amazing for me. So please, you do have questions, put them in the chat, and maybe Jabu will answer some of them as we're going through. But I'm going to bring on and ask Johan Steyn to come onto the screen, join us in the virtual chapter meeting here. Now, Johan is a renowned human-centered artificial intelligence advocate and a prominent speaker at global conferences. He plays 4 instruments, the cello, guitar, piano, and drums, and has a metalhead drummer in a band, and was a metalhead drummer in a band many years ago. But that's not virtual, that's real. I'm going to hand over to you. Thank you so much. Round of applause. Please welcome Johan. Microphone.
Thank you. I feel embarrassed because I don't even remember sharing that info, but it's fairly accurate. Although I must say the 4 instruments, I suck because I never practice or play anymore. But I was a metalhead, and I still sometimes put on that Metallica, and I really go for it just after I listen to Bach and Beethoven. So it's a bit weird. But anyway, hello everyone. Thanks for the invite. Great to see all of you. Jabu, thanks for that presentation. You actually took a lot of the wind out of my sails from talking about ChatGPT, generative AI, using it. I maybe want to just pivot a little bit and give a different lens on it. Now, I work in AI. I'm going to definitely touch on it. But I also want to tell you a little bit about my personal journey and story, because I think it's important. And I want to start with 1989, the previous millennium. Now, I don't know if all of you were even born then. Looking at some of the faces on my screen now, and your frowns and your lack of hair, Tim, no offense, we probably were born already. But I was 15, and it was the first time I did public speaking. I went to a camp over the holidays, and I had to report back in the school hall in front of the whole school behind the podium. And it was probably, if you ask me what's one of my most embarrassing moments ever, it was this one. And like a lot of kids learn how to speak, I had all my notes on little cards. No one taught me how to speak or how to articulate. And I still don't know if we actually are teaching our children this. And I stood behind the podium, And I went through my cards reporting back on this camp. And what I didn't realize I was so nervous. I was constantly going up and down on my toes the whole time. And for about, well, 6 months, I guess, the kids mocked me, and children do that. Whenever they walked past me, they went up and down like this. And I said to myself, I will never, ever speak in public again. And now at the age of almost 50, I reckon about 90% of my income is public speaking, 3 conferences a week on average, a lot of TV and radio work. So what happened in the meanwhile? And then again, what role did AI play? And I want to just go back to what I said about articulation. It's probably the most precious gift and skill we can have, whether it's in a relationship, whether it's as a child with your parents, obviously as a speaker, speaking to customers, selling your goods and services, is how do you come over in a way that people resonate with it? We don't teach our children that. Now, by the way, ChatGPT is also articulation. The way you prompt it is articulating what you want from the AI. Now, a lot of my prompts are about 3 or 4 paragraphs long, and I keep on doing it until it gets what I'm asking. And a lot of people I know who say they don't get a lot out of ChatGPT, if I can be very honest, it's just because you're lazy, because you want to put in 3 words and you expect a whole talk outline or a whole article. You have to put in links and references. And I do a course with a lot of my clients about how to prompt, but I want to show you guys something quickly, because in the room next door is my 10-year-old son. And he's doing a talk tomorrow in school. It's only 2 minutes, and he needs to be a news person presenting the news. And the first picture is the musicians of Bremen. I read this. It was very boring, by the way. And then the second one was presenting the weather. And then the third one of my great favorite pictures, is obviously the Springboks. And why I'm showing you this is because the way his teachers are teaching him is, again, to use all of these little cards to memorize everything and to essentially give back this regurgitated information. And I'm trying to teach him what I learned late in life is telling a story. And let me just briefly go back. And I know this is AI, but I want to take you back 80,000 years ago, because we human sapiens lived among many other hominoid species that looked human. The most prominent were the Neanderthals. And about 80,000 years ago, they disappeared. And we don't quite know why. And we still, most of us, have about 3% Neanderthal DNA in us, especially those in Northern Europe. Now, I always make the joke, if you ask my family, they will probably say there's a lot of Neanderthal DNA in me, and I'll say the same about them, and that's just a family joke. One of the main reasons why Homo sapiens advanced so fast and Neanderthals disappeared is our increased brain capacity and brain size, but our language ability, our ability to speak and to communicate, and it brings us back to articulation. So for thousands of years, we have been storytellers. Since our earliest age, all of us in this meeting today learned to tell stories, even if it was just bullshitting our parents, which this 10-year-old still does. All of us know that. I still do it. We tell stories, we justify ourselves, we try and convince, we try and get the best. It's a bit of a selfish thing. And there's a number of lessons I learned for me, and this is just me in public speaking. The one is, I can't be Steve Jobs. I'm just me. And if you don't like it, go away. I don't really know this forum because I wanted to say fuck off, but I'm not going to say that. Just go away. Okay. About 2 years ago, my attorney, who's my best friend since I've been 6, I took him with me to a tech event. He's an attorney. He doesn't understand jack about tech or AI. And he sat in the audience and he said something I'll never forget. He said the Johan on the stage and the Johan at a braai is exactly the same guy. And that taught me a lot about authenticity. Now, obviously, we have skill. How do you hold the mic? Do you stand behind the podium or not? How do you engage the audience? Those are skills we learn, but I can't do Steve Jobs or Elon Musk. And I'm just me. But it's both a skill and a gift. You know, a gift is what you were, in a way, born with. All of us have been born with articulation, an articulatory gift. But the skill is how to speak and how to convince. But the second thing that really changed my speaking career was a sense of moral responsibility. There are people in the audience, even if it's just one, and I probably will never hear back from them, who needs to hear what I have to say because I'm speaking from my experience. It's gonna help them. And that was a big pivot for me. And you all are wondering, how the hell is this all related to AI? And I'm getting there. But if there's one person in the audience that will be really helped, whether it's their career or as a parent or the fear of the future or this whole AI and the fear around that, and I can help them, then I have delivered the message I had to deliver. And then it's not that much important whether people liked what I had to say, whatever the feedback is. And I'm sure I will tell you a quick story just to pivot. Getting feedback from the audience, especially after the event, for me is always daunting because, you know, a lot of these conferences, they have the app where people can rate you. And it's great to get that feedback because we can constantly grow and learn. But I was at a big supply chain conference in Cape Town a year ago. And of the 48 replies on the app, which I only got a month later, all but 2 were super positive. Great talk, changed my life, thinking about it differently, really inspired me. But the 2 that got to me, that I worried about for months, and that really took the wind out of my sails. The one said, this guy should never have been a public speaker. That was just the comment. That was the end of it. And the other one was, it's a pity I sat so far from the door because I couldn't wait to leave. Okay. So it bothered me for months and months. And then I realized, you know, not everyone's going to like you. People go through crap. They go through divorce. They have a bad day. They have a hangover. But okay, let's get to the AI thing. And you'll see how I'll hopefully see how I connect it all together. Don't forget that there's something uniquely human that technology will never replace. And I think Jabu was in the very limited time he had, very effective in showing just the art of the possible, how some of these tools can help us with idea generation, talking points. I mean, most of the talking proposals I send to conference organizers and clients, I definitely use ChatGPT, not for everything, because I find that it doesn't entirely give the voice I want to give to the theme of the talk. But if I need a few ideas on a supply chain conference or a human resources conference or themes of the future in procure to pay, etc., then I definitely will ask it to give me references, look at articles, how should I maybe shape my talk. That's why the articulation and the prompting is important. Who is the audience? Are they technical or non-technical? What industry do they work in? What are the main outcomes or the main takeaways from my talk? Those are things I really ask ChatGPT to help me with. But what it cannot do is the authentic voice only I have. And I want to give you a quote from Hemingway, probably my most favorite author. Old Man and the Sea, short book. I read it every year. It's a great book, but he said something about writing, but I want to pull it into this talk about speaking. Some of you probably know this. He said, there is nothing to writing. All you do is sit at the typewriter and bleed. Now, we know he was a drunk and he was smoking cigars like crazy and he died of cancer because of all his drinking, but what a great author. But what if we say there's nothing to public speaking? All you do is stand at the podium and bleed. What if it is you just give your heart, because there's a moral responsibility. There's stuff that AI cannot do, that ChatGPT cannot do. It can support you in the background. The audience deserves the best of us. people have a bullshit filter. We all know this. They know when you're trying to do Steve Jobs and when you're just reading your ChatGPT prompt readout. Let it help you in the background. There's something in our psychology that we don't always understand. But if you're authentic to me, whether it's on the stage or in a face-to-face conversation, I will pick it up. I don't even know why. If you're inauthentic, I'll also pick it up. Because remember, we read micro expressions on each other's faces. We actually smell the pheromones and the hormones we release when we meet people. There's so much about us as humans that differentiated us from 80,000 years ago that no AI or ChatGPT will ever be able to replace. So my call to all of us today is use this technology as much as you can, because we should. It helps us. And again, I don't want to repeat what Jabu said. It was great. But please don't AI yourself, automate yourself, thinking ChatGPT is going to replace you, because the audience is deserving, sitting there waiting for your authentic, true self. And I think if we can get better at that, the fear of what they think, the fear of the dry mouth, the dilated pupils, the perspiration, all that stuff that for me after all these years never goes away. I think I've just learned to deal with it better. I can't AI that away. So I want to, and it's perhaps not entirely the talk you were all expecting, but I just want to call it a rallying call to you as speakers. There's something inside of you that the world deserves. ChatGPT can help you a heck of a lot, but it cannot replace who you really are and who people need to hear what you have to say.